The world is changing. America's era as the sole superpower is over. Both Washington and Beijing agree. A multipolar world is now reality. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio calls America's unipolar moment a historical anomaly. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says multipolarity is inevitable. But the U.S. and China have starkly different visions for this new order. The American vision, especially under Trump, is about pulling back. America first, less global policing, more focus on national interests. China sees opportunity. Beijing wants a more transactional system, where American power is checked and sovereignty trumps universal values. China isn't tearing down the system, but reshaping it to fit its ambitions. This disagreement sets the stage for a new era of competition. The U.S. steps back, hoping to shed global burdens. China steps forward, eager to fill the vacuum. This isn't just theory, it's reshaping alliances, trade, and the rules of international relations. The world is entering uncharted territory. Welcome to mercenary multipolarity, a world where great powers act out of raw self-interest. The old ideals of collective security are fading, replaced by national advantage. The U.S. under Trump is openly revisionist, withdrawing from institutions, imposing tariffs, even threatening neighbors. America is breaking from its own past, prioritizing immediate interests over old alliances. China, meanwhile, exploits the chaos. As the U.S. retreats, Beijing steps in, offering deals, building new institutions, and reforming old ones to its benefit. China presents itself as a responsible stakeholder, even as it bends rules when convenient. The paradox: America, once the architect of global order, is now its disruptor. China, once the challenger, now claims to defend stability. Both sides chase short-term gains, making the world more fragmented and dangerous. International cooperation's guardrails are gone. The result: a more transactional, unstable world. Conflict and instability are now real risks. Think of China as a disruptive upstart, not a traditional rival. Scholar Oriana Schuyler Mastro argues China avoids direct confrontation, instead exploiting gaps left by the U.S. rather than military bases. China builds commercial ports, boosting trade and gaining strategic footholds. Instead of training foreign militaries, it trains police, projecting influence with less alarm. China brands its rise as peaceful, reassuring the world even as its power grows. The results? China has gone from isolation to global power by filling vacuums left by America. When the U.S. focuses on military might, China uses economic diplomacy. When America turns inward, China expands outreach. This asymmetric approach has closed the power gap faster than anyone expected. Mastro says the U.S. should adopt its own upstart strategy. Close gaps, outmaneuver China, and leverage its strengths. But instead, America's retreat creates more openings for Beijing. China's rise is accelerating thanks in part to U.S. missteps. As China rises, two narratives compete. Some see China as a disruptive threat to the existing order. Others, like former PLA Colonel Zhou Bo, say China is a stabilizing force, not seeking to overthrow the system but to correct Western dominance. Zhou downplays aggressive actions, framing them as benign, and celebrates the rise of alternative power centers like BRICS. China's campaign to shape global opinion is in full swing. Recent events support both views. America's unilateralism creates openings and China eagerly fills them. Xi Jinping signs deals across Asia and Europe, presenting China as a pragmatic partner. The U.S. sees China as an exploitative rival and responds by undermining its own alliances. China welcomes America's retreat, advancing its influence. The world grows more fragmented. China thrives as America falters.